Hello everyone, it's Helena Bird, and today is one of those episodes where I dredge up one of my very old videos that was poorly edited when I first joined YouTube and re-edit it and revoice it so you can actually enjoy the content in a way that is not mind-numbing. Unfortunately, when I joined YouTube, there was a little bit of a learning curve when it came to editing my videos, so some of them were exceedingly long and exceedingly slow. So I'm trying to rectify that by bringing you nail polish collage fodder. Now, revisiting these videos, I have to say, it's so funny to see it and the terrible editing skills and just think, gosh, the things that I'm creating are really great, but the editing skills are so bad. And it's been lovely to revisit some of those old projects that I absolutely loved at the time and think about how I might reintegrate them into my craft, whilst also bringing something to you guys that's actually watchable. So this first technique with the nail polish is just me dripping it on the paper, wetting the paper, and then kind of allowing the nail polish to drizzle down. And that creates this kind of gorgeous marbled effect. How simple is that? The next thing that I try with the nail polish is actually drawing with the brush to create kind of little patterns. I do stripes and I do circles and they turn out beautifully. Do you know, I use these in my autumnal collage and in my summer collage because the yellow and brown stripes kind of reminded me of like a bee. And so these papers became incredibly useful to me because the seasons are such huge inspiration. And it's funny now to look back and think, gosh, I just need to get these out and try again. So if you've got any old nail polish lying around, look at the colour palette and just see whether any of them fit with a particular season or natural phenomena. And you could create a really beautiful collage based on a particular time of year. I mean, this is not high art. Anybody could get a nail polish brush and do this. And I think when it comes to creating kind of abstract design, you can't really go wrong with circles. They kind of have this celestial body aspect to them. And of course, our planet is a circle. There are many things in nature that are circles. So I think they do lend themselves really well. I thought of these as kind of berries in an autumnal bush. And that's what I was thinking of when I was creating the pattern and choosing which colours I was going to put where. So of course, those came in very handy for autumnal collage. I often find we do not have to look much further than nature for inspiration for colour palettes and shapes. The next technique is a lot of fun, but gosh, it can get a bit messy, so just watch yourself. It's using the nail polish to spatter. Now, I did, I think, in some cases add some water to these bottles because they were pretty dried out. So if you've had a nail polish that's sitting there for quite a long time and it's pretty dried out, maybe consider adding a little bit of water to it. It won't mix brilliantly because it's just not designed to mix with water, but it will spatter quite well. And the effect you'll get is probably quite subtle in the end. But that's cool. Subtle is cool. We're all good with subtle. For this original piece of spattering, I think I was largely working with the cool colours. So that's another thing that you can do if you're looking for inspiration with your palette is use all the cool colours first and then introduce a little bit of the hot. So introduce a little bit of red or a little bit of pink and see how that works out for you. I usually find that doing that, working in kind of phases with cold colours and hot colours, is a really great way to work and brings a wonderful contrast to a piece. As you might be able to tell, it did take quite some tapping on the brush to get a good spatter. And that's why I say you probably be easier using watered down versions of your nail polish. I think I only thought to do that quite late in the project. And I noticed that the more liquid ones obviously did spatter way easier. So just a little tip there if you're going to try this. Spatter for a few minutes, see what you get. If you're not getting what you want, add a little bit of water, see what happens next. I'm obviously suggesting that you don't use this on nail polishes that you love. Only old nail polishes, please, that have been sat in a drawer for 20 years. Next thing I decided to do is comb out the mixture and see what kind of textures I can get out of that. I really love this. It was so bold, and the texture in it really did add something a little bit different to the other collage pieces that I made. I need to get my comb out again and try it with some other media, because I think I really only used it for this project and then I kind of forgot about it because my brain has 50,000 tabs open at once, and as soon as I catch a glimpse of some other kind of inspiration, I'm off with that. And here starteth the marbling section of the video. So this is actually a recognized technique when it comes to using nail polish, and I watched a couple of videos first before I tried this. I saw a few different attempts to do it and I thought I'll give it a whirl. So you get some water in a plastic container is probably preferable so that you don't have nail polish stuck to a really nice tureen, and then use a little bit of nail polish remover to water down the solution, which you may find actually works way better than water. So if you want to water down your nail polish, you can try water, and if that doesn't work, you could try a little bit of nail polish remover, because that definitely does make it much more liquid and it blends a lot better than the water does on the whole. I'm just thinking if you just want to add a tiny bit of water, but if you need a lot to make it liquid again, you might want to go with the nail polish remover. As you can see, there's quite a lot of alchemy going on the screen there. Lots of pouring of solution and mixing of solution before I get going. Guys, this was all in just like normal speed. It's really slow. So when you pour these colours onto the water, it sort of sits on top of it. And, you know, just watching this is making me want to try it again. You put your paper on the water and my God, look at those colours. And they're so random as well. It's a bit like doing a gel print, but on water. You have no idea what you're going to get when you pick up the piece of paper. I just think this is such a great use of old nail polish that's just sitting there, festering in a drawer. And then you've got these gorgeous collage kind of marbled papers to use in your work. And it didn't cost you anything except a little bit of water and maybe a little bit of nail polish remover if you need to water it down. Yeah, I'm showing you my hands in the video because it did get quite messy. It's the only downside to this, I would say, is that it does get quite messy, especially if you're me and I'm just prone to leaning in paint and God knows what. But I do think that the effects are worth it. Gosh, the paper, just looking at the papers that I made, and I used them all. I mean, those were gone in weeks because I just used them all. They were just so vibrant and interesting. And now I'm going to take you through each one that I made. Just kind of a bit of a close-up on the texture. Look at those air bubbles in that. I mean, I don't really know how else you would really get that except maybe blowing bubbles in it with a straw. And it just looks so unique, so interesting. I absolutely adored using these papers, and I do need to go back to this technique. It's just, you know, when you just get in a particular groove with your crafting, and then you forget about some of the wonderful things you've made over the years. I mean, look at how all these little spatter techniques turned out, all the lovely drawing. I mean, it is something that is completely created from things that were just going to go in the bin. So I think that's pretty good going. Yeah, I really love that comb effect. I need to go back to that. Look at the texture on that. When you see it up close, you really understand just how much texture has gone into these papers. This is one of my favorite pieces. Oh, I didn't want to use this piece of paper, but I made myself use it in the video because otherwise I knew I would hoard it. And I was determined I would not hoard it just because it was really beautiful. So I do in a moment make a little tag for using that paper. Look at that. I just don't think I've ever created that effect with paint. I love that. And the colours, you know, going in with the cool and then just adding a bit of hot. That really worked for me this day. I mean, sometimes you try these techniques and they don't really pan out for you. But this particular day, that just worked for me. And so it is worth remembering that some days you'll try something and it doesn't go so well. And then other days you'll try something and it just works for whatever reason. Maybe you've just added the right amount of liquid or you're using the right palette, whatever it is. So I'm obviously just creating a tag here from a piece of Amazon packaging paper. I am tag mad, in case you hadn't got that from the other videos on this channel. They are my favorite thing to create because they are so relaxing. They are so low pressure. So here I am using my piece of paper that I absolutely adored, and I was like, I'm going to hoard this if I don't use it. So straight on the tag it went, so I did not hoard it. I was determined. I was like, I can always make more. It'll never look exactly like this because you can't control it that well, but I can always make more marbled paper from nail polish. And immediately just look at that background. And I quickly figure out that I do not need much, and I just use an ink stamp to embellish it because I really want that marbled paper to be very visible, because that is the feature of this tag, is the paper that I spent time making, getting extremely messy. And then I do go in with a little bit of gold, because obviously I can't leave well enough alone. And I decided to just do a bit of gold detail on those flowers, and then go in with some contrasting kind of turquoise. I do love how this turned out, and I'm actually glad that I painted the flowers. I think I could have left it and it would have had this lovely subtle effect, but as you may have gathered on this channel, I don't really do subtle. I mean, you guys could do subtle, nothing stopping you, but it's not really my strong suit. I tend to go all out. I had typed this little phrase up, flower power, on my typewriter, inked around it, and then just pressed it to the tag. What do you think of this technique? You know, just watching this video is making me so excited to do it again. Even though it's incredibly messy, I'm just looking at these papers again and just thinking, my goodness, those are so vibrant and so beautiful. I need to get back to this. I hope you found this inspiring, and I'm happy that I've now created this video in a format that's digestible in 15 minutes or less. If you give this a go, do let me know in the comments how it works out for you. There'll be another video along soon, but until then, take care, happy crafting, and I will see you next time.